Let us not forget everything that happens is by the will of Allah. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. To Sunnahfollowers streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnahfollowers. Sunnahfollowers. Presenting Volume 2 of Diluting Wal Bara, part of the Right Belief series, the Unveiled Trilogy, written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. This book will focus on awakening the faith in a non-faith-centered world. Explained, broken down, and brought to you, unlike before, by Ustada lailanasheeba. Join us Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulallah. I apologize for being late today, guys, but I had some issues. But alhamdulillah, we got it together, and we're now streaming live here on all our different platforms, and this is the first class of today. This is the most important class that I teach. This is our Aqidah class. And what does Aqidah refer to? Who can tell me? When we speak about Aqidah, when you hear the Arabic term Aqidah, what does that refer to?
Aqidah refers to the correct belief system.
Exactly. It refers to our correct belief system, what it is that we believe as Muslims. And alhamdulillah, here at Sunnahfollowers, we have a wonderful collection, a wonderful trilogy compiled by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid that breaks down in detail what the belief system of the Muslim is. This trilogy is so intense that it's a trilogy because you can't put it all in one book. So we got 3 books, and we went over the first part of of our belief system, which is get to know your Lord, because that's what our belief system is founded upon. La ilaha illallah. Okay, belief that only Allah is worthy of worship. And as I told you guys, the Arabs used to believe in Allah. They believed in his existence. But what they did not believe is that he's the only one worthy of worship. So they worshiped others alongside with Allah. And that was their problem. That was the problem. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to call them back to true tawheed. Okay? Even today, if you were to ask the average human being, do they believe in Allah? They'll say yes. Oh, I believe in a higher entity. I believe in a higher being. But there's other things that can be worshiped in addition. That's what they'll tell you. So again, like I try to tell you guys, life is nothing but a circle. It goes around and around and around and around. The same thing that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to deal with is what we're dealing with today. People who claim to believe in Allah, but they do not believe that he's the only one worthy of worship. Well, that's what we're speaking about in this class. And it entails a lot of things. It entails, if you say you believe in Allah, not only do you believe everything he's told us about him, the angels, the books, the prophets, and all of that. But it also entails having allegiance to him, allegiance to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and allegiance to this religion and its followers. That's Wal Bara. That's association and disassociation. If you truly believe in Allah, you have to disassociate yourself from anything that opposes that belief in him. If you truly believe in Allah, you distance yourself from anything that opposes whatever he said about the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his angels, and all of the rest. That's where we lose the true believers. Okay? We claim to believe in him, a lot of the Muslims, but do we really? A lot of the Muslims today pick and choose what parts of this religion. Where's your loyalty? Where's your allegiance to this religion? If you truly had loyalty and allegiance to this religion, why are you celebrating non-Muslim holidays? Remember, our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to this religion and its followers. Why are you celebrating Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, or anything else that's not a part of this religion? Our loyalty is to this way of life only. Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life. Our allegiance should be to this way of life, not any other way, not any other beliefs, not any other ways. So a lot of Muslims don't have that allegiance to this religion. They don't have that belief in Allah that they profess to have. And the reason why is because of that fitrah within them. What is the fitrah? What is the fitrah? Who can tell me what is the fitrah within you and me? When I say the fitrah within us, what is the fitrah within us? Who can tell us?
Inner light.
Say it again. We can't hear.
The inner light.
Okay, the inner light. And where is it?
Within us.
Yeah, where is it located?
It's located within our heart.
Exactly. That inner light that came from the soul originally. When the soul was created billions and trillions of years ago, and it's kept up there wherever Allah keeps the souls of mankind. When the soul attached to your fetus, when the soul attached to you when you were a fetus, the fitrah, that little part of that believed in Allah, that believes in Allah, that recognizes truth from falsehood, good from evil, it went from the soul to the heart. And it's right there in the heart. And when we come into this world, craving to be back in the presence of Allah. We want to be back amongst Allah and his angels. That's the fitrah within us. And it's in the heart. But the soul doesn't have the fitrah anymore. So the soul is criminal. The soul is evil by nature. It's attracted to everything that's bad for it, everything that's dirty, that's harmful to it. So we're constantly fighting between the two. Jihad and nafs, you hear the Arabic speaking people say. We're fighting between the two extremes. That light within our heart that recognizes La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That light within us that craves to be in the presence of its Lord. It needs to be nourished. It needs to be fueled. It needs to be fed. But unfortunately, most of us don't nourish it correctly. And as a result, it ends up burning out. That's why there will be more people in hell than paradise. Because we don't nourish the fitrah of the heart. And it ends up burning out. The heart becomes darkened. The heart becomes black. the heart becomes hard. That's the heart of an unbeliever. Okay. So we've been speaking about how to keep the light within us burning, the light within our heart known as the fitrah of the human being, how to keep it burning, how to give it what it needs as it finds its way back to Allah, because that's what we were created to do. As human beings, we were created to worship Allah. Allah put us here on this earth with that little bit of fitrah still intact, because Allah wants us to find our way back home to Him. Y'all understand that? Find your way back home to me. Find your way back to me. I am the first. Remember, that was the name. Allah. He's El Awwal. Awwal. I am the first. I am the beginning. Everything begins with me. And I'm also the ending. Everything ends with me. That's Allah. So He put us here on this earth. The fitrah. Find your way back home to me, man. Are you going to find your way back to me by nourishing that fitrah within your heart? Or are you going to distance yourself from me by giving into the evil nature of the soul? And before I continue, because today's lecture is very important, today's lesson, I want to also remind the brothers and sisters here who are listening to me on the different social platforms. As I speak about Islam in its truthfulness, and I am giving you the understanding of those original companions and how they understood the fitrah to be. Your soul is angry. Your soul is mad right now because your personal jinn is whispering, don't listen to her. Don't listen to this lady. And your inner jinn, he's trying to tell you, he's trying to find fault with me. He's trying to turn you away from me. He's saying, listen to her voice. Don't listen to her. Her voice is loud. Her voice is harsh. Run, run, baby, run. That's what your jinn is saying. Well, let me show you how to kill him, how to knock him out. Well, he'll go sit in the corner. I want every Muslim male and female listening to me to remember, Allah tells us that Shaitan, he made a promise that he'll do everything in his power to keep your fitrah from finding its way back to Allah. And one of the ways he will do that is by making the good and the truthful and what is right appear evil to you. So that's what your personal jinn is doing right now, because he doesn't want you to learn what your purpose is, to nourish that fitrah. So he's telling you, she's loud. Well, let me show you how to kill him. At least knock him out, because you can't kill him. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one of the ways to win the fight against Iblis is to do the opposite of what he says. And number two, when you get thoughts like that, think about what Allah said. What does Allah say to the believing women? Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, O you women who believe, do not make your voices soft when you speak publicly. As a Muslim woman, not only are we women supposed to dress the way you see me dressed, in a hijab, a kimar that covers my bosom. All you see is this. You won't ever see me standing. And an abaya, an overgarment, which is what I have on today, a shift. This is a shift. This is what Aisha, radiallahu anha, and many of the female companions would wear, a simple shift. Not only are we Muslim women commanded publicly to look the way I look, with dignity. I can wear kohol. There's nothing in Islam that forbids women from wearing makeup. Women wear makeup. The Prophet's wives wore makeup. It's all in the hadiths. This is lawful. But also Allah commands the Muslim woman, when you speak publicly, you better make your voice loud. So I don't want to hear that. When your jinn tells you, run from her. Her voice is loud. You should say, Alhamdulillah, Hi Rabbil Alameen. He'll go sit down. She's not soft like the other women that you listen to. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Because those women that you're listening to are disobeying Allah. They probably ain't dressed properly either. So do the opposite. No Muslim woman who believes in Allah and fears the last day, as Aisha radiallahu anha told the women, when the the Syrians converted to Islam, Muawiyah would send the women back to learn the deen from Aisha radiallahu anha, because she was a scholar of this religion. Yes, there are female scholars. When the Roman women would come to Aisha to ask them questions about Islam, she would tell them, speak up. Speak up. No woman who believes in Allah and fears the last day would ever make her voice soft publicly. This is a command from your Lord. And she also told them, and by the way, take off those see-through hijabs too. No woman who fears Allah in the last day would wear clothing that is see-through either. So I want you guys to know you've been listening to the wrong women all your life. Any woman who believes in Allah speaks like Layla. This is the way Aisha spoke. This is the way Atika spoke. This is the way Salama spoke. This is the way Khadija spoke. We Muslim women have to keep it loud and serious and powerful. Every true daya should be able to make their voice go up and down. The Arabic people as a nation were poets. Aisha, radiallahu anha, could not read. She could not write, but she had a photographic memory and she had the gift of articulation. She could stir the heart of a person with her voice the same way I am doing. And it's not just the Arabic blood in me that makes me do this. I went to school and got a degree in communications, and I learned how, as a journalist, to steer your heart, to get you to listen, to get you to fear. This is how we Muslim women are supposed to speak publicly. What's your jinn doing now? I want every one of you to look at yourselves on a personal level. Your fitrah, you're drawn to me. You can't leave me. You don't want to stop listening to me. That's the fitrah. Your fitrah is craving. I want to hear more from her. She's speaking the truth. I want to hear. Where your jinn is, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and your jinn will go sit down. Whenever we mention the name of Allah, the shayateen run away. They'll come back, but they run away. So right now, he should be sitting in a corner in your heart, looking foolish, while your fitrah is burning. Your fitrah is jumping up and down in your heart saying, I want more, more, more from her. There's something about her. I can't stop listening to her. That's the fitrah. You guys get what I'm saying? So I use that as an example because that's what we're going to be speaking about today. And I did post up on social media the pages from this book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid called Diluting Wal Bara. This is volume 2. Today we'll be going over pages 59 through 61. And today those pages speak about the connection, the interconnection between your faith, the fitrah, and Wal Bara. In other words, the connection between your faith and the fitrah and allegiance to Allah and distancing yourself from that which opposes it. So I use myself as an example because I get a lot of complaints. I get a lot of uneducated Muslims telling me, oh, my sister in Islam, let me give you some nasiha. What you're saying is true, but can you soften your voice? Not on your life. You will never, ever, ever hear lailanasheeba publicly softening her voice because Allah forbids it. If I were to sit on this camera and make my voice soft and attractive, it's the same as if I were sitting here with no hijab on and no jilbab. It's a major sin. I fear Allah, not man. My dawah is to please Allah, not to please no man, no woman, no animal, no jinn. You won't find me disobeying Allah publicly. Now, if you were at my house and you were a personal friend of mine, they'll tell you, Layla doesn't speak this way. Except when she's speaking publicly. Because that's what Allah commands her to do. Everybody got it? Well, I think I got everybody's attention. So this is what we're going to be speaking about today. Let me set it up. I want everybody to take out the book, volume 2. Turn to page 59. And while y'all turn to page 59, let me set the cameras up so you can see, because what I want you guys to do is when I use PowerPoint, I'm also a professional teacher. And I know a lot of the things I'm teaching you've never heard before, because there are so many people call themselves giving dawah. But most of what they say is not correct, because we are living in the days of the Ruwaybidah. Okay? So to show that I am not making up any of these hadiths, I always use PowerPoint. And what I tell my students is take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of the PowerPoint and then print it out at the end of the class, staple them together and attach it to the page in the book. So that way they can review it. I'll also add hadiths sometimes that Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid doesn't have. Okay. But all of my hadiths, I'll give you the source. They're all authentic. And yes, I memorized the sittah by heart. All the sittah, not just one. Okay. And I memorized them by heart, and I had the meaning taught to me in English by my teachers. Okay. So I'm going to give you, inshallah, the real meaning in English of those hadiths. Okay. All right. So let me put everything down so we can get started. I want y'all to be able to take big screenshots too. How do you take that one down? And by the way, just bear with me and please support us, guys. I'm going to throw that in there. Please support this dawah effort. We don't have, but we're $2 overdrawn in our personal account for this website. And y'all know the first will be in a couple of days. This streaming program is $300 itself. Please scan the QR code or go to Sunnahfollowers and make a donation. Look at all the blessings you're getting, you know, for supporting this website. Okay, so but I'm going to take everything down for right now, just so I can let you guys screenshot. Okay. All right. Okay. Wait a minute. Why isn't that coming down? All right. And now, hold on. I'm going to put the PowerPoint up on the screen. If I can. Go to this. All right. PowerPoint, pages 59. Yeah, that's it. Okay, inshallah, you guys should be able to see the PowerPoint. I'm getting ready to make it bigger, though. Let me first share it to the Zoom people. The people in my Zoom room are my students. And I'm going to take them to Instagram, inshallah. Wait a minute. This browser is updating, always updating. Let me find another one. I can go to this already. Dated. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let you guys share you guys to Instagram. I mean Instagram. Well, Instacart. Instacart. Okay. Okay. Inshallah, you guys can see that. All right, I'm gonna make it bigger now for everyone. Oh. Where's my Telegram? Okay, Telegram, I'm coming on there. There, that way I can see on my phone how I look without turning around. Okay, so this is why I gave that introduction, because today we're going to be covering pages 59 through 61. And we're going to discuss how your allegiance and faith connects to the fitrah. How Wal Bara connects to your faith and fitrah. Does everyone understand? I'm trying to break it down in plain, simple English. So that's why I gave you guys that example. So let's take a look. As Muslims, we have to remember that in our journey to understand the connection between faith, and by the way, whenever we speak about faith, that is the fitrah. Remember, the fitrah is that little sliver in the heart that used to be a part of the soul, but it's that sliver that recognizes the truth. That's what fuels your faith. The fitrah fuels your faith. Okay? Your faith is based on the strength of your fitrah. And all of this is connected to the principles of Wal Bara, which is allegiance and disassociation. To understand the connection between the two, we have to first uncover the vital role that this link plays in our everyday lives. Okay? And to do this, we have to first identify the elements that help to make up our faith and fitrah within our hearts. And by examining these elements, we then gain insight as to how allegiance and disassociation intertwines with it. And we also learn how together they influence the choices we make in life, the actions we do, and also our ultimate purpose. And I want everyone listening to me to understand, Allah, He already knows which of us will be people of paradise. Allah, He already knows which of us will be people of hell. But He didn't make that choice for us. I want you all to understand that. You made that choice. because you took on free will. When Allah gathered you, your soul and mind, onto that Mount Arafat, we chose free will. So don't blame Allah for your choices. Don't blame Allah for your actions. Blame yourself. He just knew what your choices would be. He knew what your actions would be. I want to reiterate that because a lot of my students are becoming lost in their Aqidah, and I don't understand why. I do. Turn off the TV. Stop watching what's going on in Gaza if it's causing you to have a negative effect in your relationship with Allah. Cut off the TV. Stop watching that stuff. Okay? If you choose to do good, it's because you chose to do it, not Allah. He just knew you would choose it. Allah creates the environment. Allah creates the circumstances. Allah creates the scenarios. But we as Muslims make our own choices. We as humans make our own choices. Either we choose to do good deeds, Allah ain't choosing it for you. Allah does not get in you and choose anything for you. Neither does Shaitan. You chose to pray. Allah didn't make you pray. You made yourself pray. Y'all understand? It's just that Allah knew that you would do it. He created the circumstances, but he made the circumstances and said, now, what you gonna do? Are you gonna choose to pray or not? Although I already know. So I have to keep reiterating that because I'm losing some of you with this. We have to get rid of those Mu'tazilai thoughts. Okay? So, in the context of constructing faith, we have to understand that our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us that our faith goes up and down. It increases and decreases. And that's the fitrah. The fitrah gets stronger or weaker based on how you nourish it. For some of you, looking at what's going on in Gaza is causing your faith to get weak, to go down, because you don't have the correct understanding of the deen or the correct understanding of Allah and of what Allah told us about calamities. So your iman, your faith, your fitrah has decreased a little bit. Then something can happen. You'll come into my website and you will listen to me break it down like I'm doing. And your faith goes up as understanding, comprehension enters your mind. It moves to your heart. It stimulates the fitrah. And the fitrah is what fuels your faith. So your faith gets strong. Everything, I want y'all to understand the key to everything is our fitrah. How you're fueling it, how you're nourishing it. If you're nourishing your fitrah with knowledge and understanding, that then your faith grows. But if you're not nourishing the fitrah, the faith will weaken and eventually burn out. I want you guys to listen to what Imam Bukhari said. Imam Bukhari, he said, I met over 1,000 men from the people of knowledge, from Mecca, Medina, Basra, Egypt, Syria, and all of them agreed that faith goes up and down. These were the tabi'in, okay? Faith goes up and down. This is the understanding of those original companions. Aisha, radiallahu anha, would tell you this. Ibn Abbas would tell you this. Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, Atiyah, Salama, Zainab, they'd all tell you this. Faith goes up and down. It increases and decreases based on the fitrah, And the fitrah, it goes up and down based on what nourishment you give it. Are you nourishing it with nothing but evil, nothing but drama without explanation, drama without understanding? Y'all understand that? So Imam Bukhari's encounter with over 1,000 knowledgeable individuals from the different Islamic worlds shows that this is the reality, that faith can increase and decrease based on different factors. And this is important because a lot of the Mu'tazila, the innovators, don't believe this. They don't believe that faith can change based on what experiences you're encountering in your personal life. I can tell when one of my students is going through a hardship in their personal life because they can't answer the questions right. If I ask them a question, they're all twisted. Okay, but when everything is going better in their lives, their concentration is better. And again, at the foundation of our faith is that fitrah. And the fitrah has the unwavering conviction that Allah does exist. The fitrah, that's the only thing that the fitrah can remember from its life, its existence before being put in your fetus. It remembers nothing but Allah is Allah. Allah does exist and Allah is Allah. That's the foundation of your faith. And this, along with your faith, grows and increases from the knowledge you receive about Allah and his signs and revelations. And as believers in Allah, we attest with certainty of faith that Allah does indeed exist, that Allah is the ultimate power, that Allah is unique. We attest with certainty to his names, his attributes. We don't sit around arguing like a lot of these uneducated Muslims do about Allah's hands. Yes, Allah has hands, whether you like it or not. We don't deny anything Allah says about himself. We don't sit around trying to figure out what color they are, but we accept whatever he says. And this foundational part of our faith gives us the base from which we can comprehend what our purpose in life is. Remember, Allah put the fitrah inside your heart when you were a fetus in your mother's womb. And Allah allowed you to come into this world to find your way back to him. That's your purpose. Find your way back to me. But you got shaitan. You got shaitan trying to make the good appear evil and the evil appear good. He's doing everything to keep you from finding your way back to Allah. So with this realization of our purpose, and also the knowledge that Allah gave us the freedom to choose. You understand that, brothers? You have the freedom to choose. Allah is not choosing for you. Allah is not choosing for you to get up and pray. Allah is not choosing whether or not you're going to fast this year. Allah is not choosing whether or not you're going to give in charity. You're making that choice. You control your own mind. It's just that Allah knows what you're going to choose. Once you realize this and understand that the choices you choose to make carry significance, then this helps you in your journey to find your way back to Allah. This helps the fitrah to fuel the faith and in turn help it find its way back to Allah. So we got to think twice about the choices we make Don't think Allah is choosing for you. Even when you do istikhara, this is a big misconception. There's a lot of Muslims out there who think that the istikhara supplication is a magic potion. They believe that if they make istikhara, Allah tells them what to do. That's not true. That is not true. You need to read what the istikhara means in English. What it is you're asking Allah to guide you. That's what Allah does. Allah doesn't make choices for you. Allah doesn't make choices for me. He guides us through that angel that he has assigned to the fitrah. Follow the fitrah. Allah guides you. And when you make istikhara, you're asking Allah to guide you to making a choice that would be of benefit to you. But should you make a choice that's not of benefit, you're asking Allah to give you the means to get rid of this choice. That's what istikhara is. You're not asking Allah to make the choice for you, because he'll never make the choice for you. He'll never make the choice for you or me. You make your own choices. I make my own. I choose to come here and teach. Allah is not making me teach. I choose what I want to teach. Allah guides me. The angel assigned to my heart may inspire me, may encourage me. Layla, do a series on the fitrah. Do Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd's book. I may get guided by Allah, but Allah is not choosing it for me. I determine if I'm going to do Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd's book or if I'm going to do Imam Ghazali's. Y'all understand? I make the choice. Am I going to teach Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd's books and Muhammad Saeed Atli's books? Or am I going to go teach Imam Ghazali and somebody else's? It's my choice. Allah just guided me through that angel. But I want y'all to understand, while Allah may be guiding you, you got that jinn. Iblis is trying to guide you too. That jinn, he never goes to sleep. He hovers around in your heart and he whispers to it, don't teach Kareem Abu Zayd's book. There's so many books you can teach, Layla. You can do a book about Jack and Jill went up the hill. Or you can go and teach any of these innovators' books. Don't choose Kareem's. Don't choose Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli's. So we're being inspired by Allah through that angel that's assigned to the fitrah. And we're also being inspired from Shaitan through that jinn assigned to us. But the jinn doesn't make the choice. The angel doesn't make the choice. Shaitan doesn't make your choices. Neither does Allah. You're making your own. Do you Muslims understand this? You're making your own choices. It's just that Allah knew what it would be. Okay? So the choices we make in this world carry significant consequences. And this is how the heart becomes activated. This is how the heart's actions remain true. This is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whatever is in the heart will show through your actions. However strong your belief in Allah is, a person will be able to tell if you're strong through how you behave. Whether you're nourishing that fitrah, it's going to show through your actions. I can tell that you're nourishing your fitrah because you pray every day, because you give in charity, because you come to my classes to learn Islam with the understanding of the companions. That's showing me that you guys are nourishing your fitrah. The fact that you keep coming back, even when you learn that the knowledge you thought you had was wrong, and I have to wake you up to the truth, you still come back. That shows that your fitrah, you are feeding it, and your fitrah is yearning for Allah, and you're giving it what it needs. And that brings us to the question, how does love and how does hate play in this? This is a big question that we talked about before. The role of love and the role of hate. The more we feed our fitrah, the stronger our faith becomes, and the more our love for Allah and His guidance grows within our heart. And when our love for Allah grows, that's when our actions become strong too. We wear our hijab without fearing what people think. You become a woman like me. I will never soften my voice publicly. You'll never hear lailanasheeba speak like those other women. I'll make my voice louder. I'll make my voice stronger on purpose to do the opposite of what Shaitan wants, and I don't care. As Allah says, and I don't care. Well, the believers will do what Allah loves for us to do, and we don't care what anyone else says. You guys understand that? So this love for Allah, it propels us to want to seek the company of others like us who are fueling their fitrah, nourishing their fitrah, and in turn fueling their faith. We gravitate towards each other. The world is vast. But as our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, the believers will find that connection to each other. Because the greatest strength we have and the greatest weapon against Shaitan is each other. The road to paradise is hard, not easy. We need to be in the company of other strong believers to help push us on, to carry on, to join their ranks. And that's how you can see that Muslims who grow in their belief and understanding of Allah, they seek better communities. Some people will begin to relocate. They'll look around them and say the masajids, the mosques in my area are not good. The mosques in my area are offering nothing that nourishes my fitrah. So they relocate. They'll move all the way across to another country or another city, another state, seeking to be in the company of believers who will help to contribute positively as they journey towards Allah. But this is only for those who have that love for Allah. Remember, Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, who are the believers? The believers are only those people who, when Allah's name is mentioned, they feel a fear in their hearts. And when His words of the Quran are recited to them, it increases their belief in Him. And they are the ones who trust in Allah alone. They don't care about man. They don't care what people say about them, what people think about their voice, what people think about how they look. We trust in Allah. You can bounce. Hello. Goodbye. So this verse highlights the connection between faith and how it grows. It also states that the true believers are those who experience a sense of awe and reverence in their hearts when Allah's name is mentioned, because that's what the fitrah craves. Remember, the fitrah, I want to find my way back home. Subhanallah. Also, this verse emphasizes the deep impact of engaging with the words of Allah on a regular basis. When life is throwing you a lemon, guys, you need to make lemonade out of it. How do I make lemonade out of it? By engaging with the words of Allah, remembering what Allah says. Remember this verse, remembering the words of Allah. How did Allah command us to be when faced with trials? Allah says, be strong, be firm. Do not allow your trials to get the better of you. Know that your trials are just a test. If you believe in me, I'm getting ready to test you to see if you truly do. But if you don't believe in me, or if you are committing sins, I'm sending those trials to punish you as a means of trying to help you to find your way back to me. Again, the fitrah within our heart, it knows if it is being punished or not. A lot of you will ask me, Sister Layla, how do I know if a hardship is a punishment or a test? Your fitrah knows. The fitrah knows what you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. If you smoking weed, you're smoking marijuana, you smoking cigarettes. If you're one of those women that's sitting on the internet giving lectures with a soft voice, you know it's wrong. Your fitrah knows it's wrong. So whenever the hardship happens, your fitrah will make you say, wow, I shouldn't have done that. I should have made my prayers. Man, I need to stop smoking cigarettes. Man, I shouldn't be on the internet making my voice soft, trying to be seductive to men. The fitrah knows. So you can't fool yourself. You can't lie to yourself. That's how you know if the hardship is a test or a punishment, because you know what you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, and you know what you're not doing that you should be. So this verse of the Quran shows the deep impact of engaging with the words of Allah and how it impacts the believer's heart and satisfies the fitrah. It also emphasizes the importance of trusting in Allah alone. As Muslims, we shouldn't care what the rest of the world thinks of us. We shouldn't care about what the ignorant Muslims say about us. Everything we do solely for the sake of Allah. Like Sheikh Morsi told you women, like Sheikh Morsi told you men. Who are you to think you can force your wives to do what Allah said they didn't have to do? You can't force your wife to cover her face, because covering the face is not an obligation. And you cannot whip your wife by telling her to do it for you, because Allah tells us He does not accept any of our good deeds unless they're done solely for Him. So, brother man, I am not covering my face for you, because you're nobody. If I'm going to cover my face, it's for Allah, and I choose to not do it. And that's the end of the discussion. Move on. Everybody got that? And again, that's how it works with love and hate. And also, guys, the same way your faith increases, love and hate does too. Your love for something can grow. Your love for something can diminish. The same with hate. Your hate of something can grow and your hate of something can diminish. If we align ourselves with the true understanding of association and disassociation, this will help to foster our love for Allah, our love for the Prophet, our love for the religion and for each other. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, he said, love and hate are components of faith. Love and hate are components of faith. This is something that we have to understand. And the Prophet said, as believers, the believers love everything that Allah loves. And they only hate the things that Allah hates. Allah tells us clearly in the Quran that he loves everything that he made lawful. And he hates the things he made unlawful. That's why you Muslims should never put your own opinion in things. Don't you dare say that Allah hates divorce, because that's a lie against the law. Allah tells us he only hates the things he made haram. He didn't make divorce haram. So how dare you lie on him? Be careful using the word haram, because to use the word haram means that you're saying Allah hates something. If he didn't say it, you better fear him. To lie on Allah is not the same as lying on anyone else. Okay? So we need to follow what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. Train your soul. Remember, the fitrah recognizes what's good. The fitrah recognizes what's right and what's wrong. But the soul is criminal. The soul is curious. The Prophet told the companions to train their souls. Train your souls to love the things Allah loves and to only hate what he hates. If we do that, that's how we can foster our love for Allah and hate for the things that he hates. So this is a delicate balance between love and hate. And we have to take the proactive steps to nurture our faith in this. And this is by seeking knowledge. That's why it's important for us to learn what the lawful and the unlawful things are. Learn the lawful and unlawful. First of all, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us when it comes to our everyday life, most things are lawful. There's not that many things that are haram. If I were to take a notebook, guys, and write down all the haram things for us as Muslims, I wouldn't even have 5 pages. Most things are lawful. And the Prophet told us the things that Allah has not mentioned, they're lawful too. They're lawful. Allah doesn't mention anything about makeup, so it's lawful. Makeup is good and clean. Allah didn't mention anything about cheese. Cheese is good and clean. Okay? We have to accept that. The things that Allah doesn't mention are concessions. And as the Prophet said, learn to accept the concessions of Allah. Concessions means lawful. So we have to seek knowledge of this religion. That's the first step in nurturing our faith. We have to seek the correct knowledge, the knowledge of the lawful and the unlawful. And then we have to engage in actions of worship, such as prayers, making dua, learning the religion, because these type of qualities will strengthen our connection with Allah, because they help to nourish the fitrah, which in turn fuels our faith. And if we actively cultivate our love and hate, we can then protect our fitrah. We can allow it to shine brightly, because we know what Allah loves, what Allah hates, and we're trying to live in sync to that. Does everybody understand that? But we never forget that it goes up and down, that faith goes up and down, and that light can shine bright today, and that light can dim tomorrow. So we have to be aware of what the causes are. What is it that's causing my faith to grow? What is it that's causing my iman to diminish? That's why I tell some of my students, for my students who are having a hard time with basic Aqidah right now, what's causing it? Maybe you're watching too much death. Death is very depressing, especially people showing pictures of babies. That is disgusting. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, have some dignity. Do not drag the women through the battlefield so they can see the bodies of their slain. Cover those bodies up. Have dignity. Do not show people at their worst. Let their families remember them at their best. So that's why I tell my students, stop watching all that stuff about Gaza, because it's very depressing. And that can cause your faith to weaken to the point where many of you are doing what you're doing, which is questioning Allah and his qadr. So we have to know the causes of weakness, the causes of strength, so we can keep our fitrah balanced. And by balancing our fitrah, we in turn balance our faith. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. A very, very, very important topic. How our allegiance to Allah connects to our belief in him, and how all of that connects to that fitrah within us that is trying and will continue to try, inshallah, unless you make it burn out. That fitrah that is trying to find its way back home.